Greetings, I'm Thomas Foss, Senior Designer and Zone Director of City of Heroes and City of Villains. Today we'll be taking you on a tour of Sharkhead Isle, one of the many locations that forms the Rogue Isles in City of Villains. Sharkhead is the industrial center of the Rogue Isles, a miner's nightmare run by the Cage Consortium under close supervision of Arachnos. Players are sent to Sharkhead to help quell uprisings from the scrapyarders, the workers on the island. With the Marconi crime family as financial backing, Kirk Cage started mining the island of Sharkhead under the newly formed Cage Consortium. But instead of iron and the impervium that he was looking for, he found coral with magical properties. This coral proved to be incredibly valuable for making magical enhancements, which is when Lord Recluse sent Captain Mako to build this fortress to claim the coral for themselves. Players are sent here to help Arachnos' interests and to break up the striking workers, but as villains will no doubt want to get a piece of the action for themselves. Most of Sharkhead is taken up by what the locals call the Hell Forge. These huge furnaces and smelting factories dominate the landscape of the entire island. This is where the legendary hero Scrapyard started a workers' revolt, which ended up in his death after a long battle with the now infamous Captain Mako. The workers have taken on his name and call themselves the Scrapyarders. It is rumored that his ghost still haunts the island. The toxic sludge from the Hell Forge is dumped onto the north end of the island, into the Crush. This, combined with bits of coral that have emerged from the surface, has spawned a new monster the locals call slag golems. These toxic creatures cause great distress to the scrapyarders, and are one of the reasons they're striking. Not everyone hates trash. The Freak Show think this wasteland is a garden of delights, and have made a deal with Arachnos. They get first rights on all scraps, and in turn they control the slag golem population and spy on the Circle of Thorns, who seem to know more about the coral and how to find it than anyone else. Players will be able to explore the largest Freak Show fortress ever built, and of course, beat down on the freaks. We are now crossing over Port Recluse in the company-owned apartments, stores, and hospital, up to one of the many shantytowns of the scrapyarders, who owe too much to the Cage Consortium to afford even decent housing. This particular one sits right on the edge of the pit. For solo hunting and overall mayhem, players will find the pit a good challenge with great payoff. Many missions will start from the mine shafts that create a tunnel network throughout the island. This is also a place where villain groups such as the Council and the Sky Raiders have their operable bases, doing research and mining, but tithing back to Arachnos when they find coral. No two slag golems look alike, thanks to a new critter randomizer tech that we've implemented. Players will have to move fast and look sharp around the areas where slag golems have been known to haunt, as they will come straight out of the ground and attack when least expected. Greedy to find more of the coral pieces, Arachnos and the Cage Consortium have forced the scrapyarders to mine much deeper into Sharkhead than is safe. The entire southern end of the island is a vast pit supported from collapsing in on itself by a massive web of girder supports. Tremors have been more frequent lately, and the rumors that there's something alive under the island may prove to be true. This and a constant threat of slag golems and overlording cage security guards keep the scrapyarders in a constant state of uprising. Eager to finish their giant robot technology, the Council has signed a loose pact with Arachnos to help in the mining of the coral. Here they've built a base to protect their findings as well as research. Out in the distance is Vieira Queen, the personal island and palatial mansion of Governor Kirk Cage. That area is restricted to the elite of villain groups, and many a mob boss or archon can be seen making deals with the Consortium and Arachnos officials. Floating just off the coast is one of the Sky Raiders' immense bases. Sky Raiders have been hired by Cage himself to help patrol the borders of his island, protecting it from any attacks from the Freedom Corps or other supergroups. Constant quarrels between Sky Raiders and the Council make this area very hazardous. Potter's Field houses the remains of not only the first settlers here from the 1600s, but the makeshift graves of many of the scrapyarders that have fallen under the repressive yoke of the Consortium. Scrapyarders can be found at the grave of Scrapyard, marked by his giant sledgehammer. Rumor has it that Scrapyard's ghost has risen more than once to lead his followers on mass raids against the Consortium. We return back to Port Recluse and down to the Chum Bucket, a local watering hole and a possible safe house for scrapyard leaders. I have to see a contact for my next heist. I'll see you around.